When Ransom Cook was about 10 years old, he ran away from home. He headed west from the Catskill Mountains of New York State, where he was born, and ended up along the Delaware River. He became fascinated listening to the old-timers tell their stories and play their fiddles. Wanting to learn to play himself, he fashioned one from a cigar box and an old broom handle. He practiced all the time, and he got really good at it. So good, in fact, that as a regiment of the Union Army during the Civil War was traveling south along the Delaware, they asked him to come along. One night, while he played his fiddle for the soldiers as they ate their dinner, Captain Smith gave him a violin they had taken off the body of a Confederate soldier. As the regiment headed south to Pennsylvania, Randy had no interest in being that close to the war, so the 13-year-old took himself east to New York City instead. While playing for pennies along the streets, one day a beautiful carriage stopped and a lovely lady named Madame Camilla Urso stepped out. She was so impressed with Randy's playing that she offered to take him under her wing and on a whirlwind trip of Europe. He later learned that Madame Urso was considered the greatest female violinist of the 1800s. With nothing better to do, Randy agreed to go with her. The only problem was he hated Europe. He ran away from her too and eventually made his way back to the United States. He traveled the country playing his violin in various competitions and winning all sorts of awards. He even wrote a song called The Arkansas Traveler, which is pretty catchy, but he was never given credit because, according to him, some damn miscreant stole it on me. He eventually made his home here in Hamilton, New York. Coupled with his love of music, Randy's other true love was racehorses. He purchased his first racehorse, Storm Prince, for $25, but then later traded him for a gallon of maple syrup. He had a few other horses in between, but his favorite was his last, Husky Harry. The stallion wasn't the fastest, but Randy adored him. One day, while the two of them were making their way to the racetrack at Vernon Downs, Harry tripped, and his hoof sliced the artery on his other leg. Before Randy could do anything, his stallion bled out in front of him. Randy was devastated. Around this time, Randy had gotten sick from what sounds like cancer because he was slowly withering away. And at 3 p.m. on September 21st, 1928, Randy said his last words to his wife, "The race is about over." His headstone is not just a tribute to him, but also to his beloved horse, Husky Harry.